Now we're going to paint in our leaves for the tulips. Now I have on my palette, this is Hauser Green Light, and this is Thicket. This is Folk Art brand. One is a multi-surface and the other is just the regular Folk Art. And the difference is, one thing is the Thicket, which is the multi-surface, will have more of a satin sheen, and the other is matte. But since I'm going to finish my painting with a varathane or a protective coating of some kind, it doesn't matter. So, and the multi-surface, you can also paint on several different type surfaces like glass, wood, plastic, quite a few metal, and the other one you can't use on glass. I'm not sure what all you can, but both of them work very good for paintings. And I'm double loading. I'll let you see this. This is a 3/4 inch flat plaid one-stroke Donna Dewberry. I do link to it on my website. Sorry, didn't mean to kick that. Let me make sure we're in focus. And I'm going to do, let me see, a leaf here. I'm going to start and flatten. You see I'm flattening the brush, and then I'm going to let it lift while I'm twist up to a point. Now the point did not finish. I ran out of paint. So I can go over it. And you see how it's kind of showing some of the canvas through? That's okay. We can go over it a couple times if we want. You can even go backwards. And you get the hang of it after a bit. And you can come back in later if you want with more dark. I'll put some dark on my corner and just add that. And it can go up off the canvas. That's not terribly important. Make the leaf as tall as you want it. And I may have wanted it to go further over here, but that's okay. I'm going as on the fly here. So let's see. Let's have another one going up this direction. And maybe one going up, out, and over and down. Now the tulips may cover some or part of these leaves, and you can always put a leaf or two in afterwards to set some of the tulips behind. And that's okay too. So it's your design. Just get the basic elements down and then decide what you want to do with the rest. So I will let that dry, and then I'll come back in and I'm going to fill in a little bit more. I think, I might do one more leaf to kind of fill in, or I could do that, or I could put a little strand over here. So go with what you feel like. I could maybe put a little bit of greenery over here. So put like a little thing there. And we'll see what we do with that. I am going to change one thing up. And after looking at this, I thought that these look more like iris leaves than actual tulip leaves. Tulip leaves have a tendency to curl inwards. So to get that effect, I'm going to go over my original with just Thicket. So the darker color doesn't have to be exact, but I do want it all the darker color. And you can do this in stages. What I mean by you don't have to just do it in one big long stroke if you don't feel comfortable doing that. I just prefer painting that way. And again, on the last one. Now that one was a little bit wider there, you can see, and that's okay, I'll just fill it in. And there I will let these dark leaves dry, and then I will come back in with the lighter color and make them seem to have curled. So there we have the dark leaves. Now we're going to do the light green, or the light Hauser green. It's called Hauser green light, excuse me, on the edges of the dark leaves. Now I went over it with the thicket, and now I'm going to I loaded, I should tell you, there is some floating medium there, and I dipped my brush in the floating medium and then a corner in the Hauser green light, and I worked it in. I want it to kind of graduate from totally covered to just thin, so it would be like it's graduating on there, graduated color. And you see how I did the light edge. I'll go back and reload, and then I'm going to go along this edge. I'm keeping my eye on the outer edge, trying to keep it right along that edge. And if I have to reload, I go back and I reload, and I kind of start down here. Same again, I'm running out of paint. Reload, up. And then I just kind of blend it in along there. I turn my brush on the chisel edge to kind of get that right along the edge. And it's not perfect, but that's okay. The leaves are kind of the backdrop to the whole painting, so it's not like they have to be perfect. And if you want that contrast to be a little starker, you just go in there and add a little more. And as you can, if it doesn't look the way you think it should right away, just walk away and let it dry. And then sometimes when you come back, you can really see what you've done and how the effect you want it to create. Sometimes that walking away and coming back is the ticket. So I'm doing the same on this one. I'm creating that lighter edge. Seems I have more paint and less floating medium this one. That's okay, I can work it in. And if there's any time that you think you have too much light, if you want to bring in more dark after it dries, that's fine too. This is not rocket science, and there's no such thing as perfection in painting. Sometimes less is more, but sometimes I'll see something that I think needs a little help, and then I'll go in and do that. And let's see, do I have any thicket? I do have a little bit of thicket left on my thing, and I'll just kind of blend that down the center if I think it's too stark. And there you have the lighter edges, the dark center. Let it dry and come back and see if you want to touch any up. And I'm just going to leave it the way it is and focus on my tulips next. So I did as I suggested, and I walked away and came back and realized there was still something wrong with my leaves. And I figured it out. It's that the leaves are not exactly straight in real life. They have some curves and some little areas that go in. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking my Hauser light green straight. There's no blending medium in it or floating medium. And I'm just going to come down to the chisel edge, kind of go out, in, and along, and kind of let it go out in a curve or a bump and come back in along those edges. Not too many, and it could be a long bump out or a curve. And it gives it more of a natural look. If you want it to be, less bumpy, not as many, you just come along and you bring it out on a long stroke there, and you just like that, and it gives it that illusion of some of the ripples in the leaves. I'll do that again over here. And I'll just come in and fill this in. With the lighter green. And then we want to leave that other side to be kind of straight. And then I'll just do maybe one on this one. And you get the idea here. Just kind of eyeball it. Now you want this to kind of go up to a point because that's where the leaf folds over. So we want that to be noticeably flat there. And I should look at a fold in a leaf to make sure how I got that, if it's correct. And that is how you make it look even more natural. Now let's see, we'll do this one. I hope this is making sense for you. Now look at pictures of things if it helps, or even pictures of other paintings of leaves, all sorts of styles, and you'll get an idea. And I'm by no means perfect at this. I just basically wing it. And there you have your leaves again. Now I'm going to walk away before I put the tulips on. The original painting that I showed a picture of a couple of days ago did not have a tulip over here. This one I'm going to put a tulip here because I thought I'd add some greenery because I thought the leaf was too far over and I didn't like it. So I am now going to modify it and put a tulip here and a few more over there. And I'm going to go for an odd amount, like 5 tulips. And so we will put those on next. I'll underpaint them.